The NCAA Lacrosse Championships move into the quarterfinal round. Welcome to Long Island, Hempstead, New York, the site for Virginia and unseeded Maryland. We're just miles away from the PGA Championship over at Bethpage Black. The first of 4 games this weekend. The winners all move on to Philadelphia and championship weekend. Good afternoon, Anish Shroff alongside Quint Kesnick. Paul Carcaterra will be with us momentarily. You've said so many times in the past, this is the hardest round of the NCAA tournament. Why?
Well, nobody remembers a quarterfinal loser because the stakes are so big. You advance to championship weekend, the crowd is gigantic in Philadelphia, national TV audience, and all the benefits and attention that a winner of this round gets.
Maryland knows the big stage well. They've been to championship weekend 5 years in a row, but needed some help to just get out of the first round last week against Towson. Terps down a goal, less than 10 seconds to go. Jared Bernhardt ties it, sending the game into overtime. Lewis Dubik won it in OT for Maryland, and the Terps back in the quarters with another chance to get to championship weekend. Not the same team that won it all, but the star power is still there.
Jared is the jewel of this Maryland offense. His separation speed, ability to create plays from that right wing. He's a Tewaaraton finalist. That is the Heisman of lacrosse, and boy, he was clutch last week.
Came on in the fourth quarter, and John Tillman has been clutch in this round, 7-0 in the quarterfinals as the Terrapins head coach. Virginia has as much offensive firepower as anybody in the country, and Paul, their top studs on offense are hard to match.
Well, Anish, Maryland has a daunting task ahead of them defensively. The Cavaliers don't roll out 1 or 2 scores. They have the big 5. And it starts with their quarterback, Matt Moore. He's got the vision, leads the team in assists, and sees through opposing defenses. Who's he looking for? Well, the goal scorer. That's Ian Laviano. Opportunistic. He's got a right-handed shot that blazes past goaltenders. Doc Aiken, he's a Mack truck who throws absolute darts and missiles from downtown. You focus on him, well, don't forget about Michael Kraus, the slasher, owns one-on-one matchups and has that lethal lefty shot. And then finally, Ryan Conrad. Is there anything he can't do? The answer is no. Plays offense, plays defense. On the wings of faceoffs, he's everywhere.
The Cavaliers trying to get to championship weekend for the first time since 2011. Virginia won it all in 2011, beating Maryland in the final that season. Lars Tiffany in his 3rd season as UVA's head coach. It's been a renaissance this year in Charlottesville. Opening faceoff, Austin Henningsen and Petey LaSala for Virginia. And Ryan Conrad, that switchblade, comes up with the ground ball. Virginia will work on offense to begin. Conrad, MVP of the ACC tournament. Waits for his offensive personnel. And the ball now in the cross of Doc Aiken, the most prolific midfielder in Virginia history. No one has more goals or points. Here's the freshman, Jeff Connor. Down the alley, Connor all the way to the cage, and he's turned away by Danny Dolan. Brett Makar, the freshman out of Yorktown, New York, brings it into the attack zone for Maryland, and the Terps go to work on offense. There is Jared Bernhardt, Tewaaraton finalist, blinding speed. Over to Logan Wisnauskas, soft-spoken sophomore, nicknamed Groot. Anthony DeMeo on the wing dive. Back to Bernhardt from X. Bernhardt guarded by the freshman Cade Sawstead. And his pass knocked down by Matt Jama. Virginia gets the big ground ball. That's such a big strength of this UVA team, Quint.
Best in the country at loose balls and ground balls, and many times they'll convert those into transition opportunities for their own.
Back up! Come on, man, head up there!
Danny Dolan made 15 saves last week against Towson Fifth-year senior, began his career at UMass.
Before that at Garden City, which is, we can probably see it from this press box. Anish, I think both offenses have an advantage in this game. Virginia's speed on O. There's not a single matchup I like if I was the Maryland defensive coordinator, and vice versa. I think Bernhardt, Wisnauskas, and Fairman can give Virginia some fits.
Aiken's got the short stick. Alex Smith. Aiken bullies his way in. Over to Michael Kraus now. Kraus has it taken away. A lot of red jerseys in the area.
Look at this scrap. This is great.
It's going to be a hold against Virginia, so Maryland will get the ball back.
Two monster plays by the freshman Makar. You saw him clearing on that first possession of Maryland's, and then stripping Michael Kraus. From an experience standpoint, obviously favors two and white, but Makar's a beast. If you see how strong he is, holding Kraus on goal line extended could be something he can accomplish. In space, more challenges.
Here's Kyle Long, 23 in a red, one of the heroes for Maryland last week. 4 assists. Long with a nice move, feeding Wisnauskas. It's not there on the doorstep. That's the vision of Kyle Long, only a freshman.
And watch his quickness. He's
300-plus assists in high school.
Tremendous change of direction. That's a matchup I love right now.
DeMeo inside, falls to the ground. Penalty coming on Virginia.
White, number 9. Trip, 1 minute. 9 White, Trip, 1 minute.
That's Will Rock into the box. Officials today, Mike McCloskey, Mike Harold, and Dan Ferry.
Top of the penalty, 334 of the first.
So Maryland with the extra man, 32% on the EMO this season. Bubba Fairman out of Sandy, Utah, over to Wisnauskas. Inside, Dubik could not corral the pass. It comes to John Fox.
Virginia ground ball number 34, John Fox.
Timely check by Jared Connors, 28 in white.
Failed clear by Virginia, so Maryland has it. 30 seconds to go on the extra man. DeMeo up top to Fairman. Now Bernhardt from the wing, a bounce shot and a score. The Tewaaraton finalist, who did not get into the scoring column till the fourth quarter last week with the first tally of this quarterfinal round.
This is a poorly executed outlet pass, mishandled by Virginia. And the penalty means you got to play more man down defense. Bernhardt just given too much real estate from the right wing. Sets his feet and uses the earth. Look at that big bounce shot kick into the upper portions.
You got to know the scores if you're Virginia. You're man down, so the numbers advantage is not in your favor. But that's Jared Bernhardt on the wing from 8. Press out, contest the shooter's hands.
Virginia's defense has been much better in their last 4 or 5 games. But they're going to be tested today from a very surgical Maryland staff and game plan.
Here comes LaSala to the wing. Laviano whistles one high. 3 in white. Ian Laviano coming home. A Long Island native. He was the Island Player of the Year in high school as a senior. Now Kraus against the freshman Makar. Laviano calling for it inside. Instead, it's back to Conrad. Shot clock at 55. The 82nd shot clock, a new rule implementation this year. Now Jack Simmons down the alley. Back to X and Kraus. Here comes Moore. Draws the slide. Moore had 7 assists in the first round win against Robert Morris. Jeff Connor now. Top freshman for Virginia, part of the #1 recruiting class in the country. 20 to shoot. Kraus has his man hung up. Cat and mouse. Kraus snakes around. Didn't get much on the shot. It was deflected and Dolan out of the cage. And now the ride by Virginia. Maryland, the best clearing team in the tournament. Virginia with a Valkyrian ride.
Terps are ready to play. You see it in their defensive posture. You feel it on their bench. Love that defensive fundamentals they executed. And Virginia's looked a little like kind of hero ball in East. One guy dodging, everyone else standing around and watching.
Now, we wondered how experience would play this afternoon. Virginia's storied program and all. Now, they've never been on this stage with this group. Maryland, #1 seed in the tournament the last 3 years, and a championship weekend fixture. Here's Will Snyder. His dad played at Virginia. Now Bernhardt again. Flag coming against UVA. Bernhardt over to Wisnauskas. His shot blocked. And another man-up opportunity for the Terps.
Point, number 11. Hold 30 seconds. 11, 30 seconds. Hold.
That's the freshman from Highland Park, Texas, Sawstead.
Sawstead gets him right up at the head, and something to look at in this matchup, gentlemen. 2 of the prolific offensive players on each team being defended by a freshman. Sawstead on Bernhardt, and then Makar on Kraus. So baptism by fire here in the NCAA tournament for these young bucks.
Maryland swings it back to X. Kyle Long over to the wing. Now Wisnauskas up top to Fairman. Fakes the pass to Bernhardt, feeding inside. Alex Rode the denial. Something to watch today. Maryland in its 12 wins, 38% with the extra man. In their 4 losses, 1 for 9 with the man up. Out ahead to Aiken. It gets past him. And another turnover for Virginia. A little sloppy clearing the ball today. Makar gets leveled out of bounds. No flag. 3 early turnovers for Virginia.
Terps are crisp.
They are. Good chance here. Shot to score. DeMeo from Wisnauskas. 2-0 Terrapins.
Experience is worth something, right, gents? The Terps are a mainstay in May. 7 of the last 8 championship weekends. Virginia might be a blue blood. They have not tasted championship weekend since 2011. And Anthony DeMeo's got the Terps up 2-0. Experience.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Anish Shroff, Quint Kasnick, Paul Carcaterra with you from Hempstead, Long Island. It is Maryland, a 2-0 lead on Virginia. And look at the subgroup here. The 4 teams in Hempstead were all a part of the ACC for only 1 season together, 2014. That was Maryland's final season in the league. For Notre Dame and Syracuse, their first season in the league. You got Maryland, you got Virginia, you got Duke, Notre Dame, all playing in this Hempstead quarterfinal.
Good look at the coaches. John Tillman has his team ready to go, both strategically and emotionally. And for Lars Tiffany on the right, a slow start. What I haven't liked about Virginia, they've given the ball to 2 freshmen, Jeff Connor and Jack Simmons. to isolate, to initiate on their opening possessions. Get the ball to your studs.
Lasala and Henningsen in a battle. Face-off won by Henningsen. Ball jarred loose. Comes to Moore. Now he has it taken away. Rolling into the restraining area. Ryan Conrad there to settle it. The senior captain. Skip to Kraus. Petey Lasala only took 4 face-offs last week. Bothered by an illness. Back to full strength this weekend.
Good matchup here for Virginia.
Aiken against the short stick. Aiken blows by Puglisi. Now picked up by O'Connell. Moore from X. Shaded by Curtis Corley, Maryland's top defender. And Moore shot too high. Closest to the ball where it goes out of bounds on a shot. Gets possession. That's Virginia. And Mikey Herring, 42 and white in the game. Terrific finisher. Herring feeding Kraus. And that one off the mark there for the backup is Moore. Matt Moore, ACC Freshman of the Year a season ago. And now the team's leading scorer, moved to attack in 2019. Was a midi last year. Moore backing down Corley. Moore finds an angle and rips one top shelf. The kid has blossomed into a full-fledged superstar down the stretch.
This is wicked. It's unguardable. Corley's in great position. Brings the stick back on stick, falling down to the turf, almost blind to the goal. Moore pinged the corner.
It's unbelievable is right. Quint, the level of difficulty to shoot with that kind of velocity when your feet are set is one thing. When you're on your knees, it's another one. He actually uses that roll to get momentum and snap it. That is sick.
Moore coached by the Maryland legend Frank Urso at Garnet Valley in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Urso on that 1975 championship team. Terps come away with the face-off. Wesley Janik providing a lift at the face-off X. Off the wing that time.
Typical Maryland, you know? These program guys late in their careers, they find roles for them and they blossom when the game matters most.
Second midfield, getting a run here for Maryland. Zawadzki, Snyder, and Massey. There is Bernhardt against the freshman Sawstead. Bernhardt streaking to the cage. Bernhardt trying to get top side. It's not there. Virginia's improved defensively the second half of the season. Massey against Jama. Now Snyder beats Smith.
Came better and better as the season progressed, but then the late season beatdowns by Hopkins, people started scratching their head. And last week they did not win that game in fashion that they've won first-round games in the past. I mean, Towson had them beat with 3 seconds left.
Yeah. There is Connor against Alex Smith.
Late season losses, exposed flaws. They've worked awful hard in the last 2 weeks to clean that up.
Conrad is shaded by Makar. Conrad beats Makar, streaking to the cage and turned away.
Cover number 22, Ryan Connor.
Now the ride by Virginia. This is the equivalent of the full court press. Teams clear at less than 70% against Virginia. You're watching why right now. O'Connell absolutely devoured, and the Cavaliers get it back. Final minute of quarter number 1. Laviano on the doorstep. Defense and tenacity leading to offense, Kark.
And the Long Island kid answers the bell. Grew up about 10 miles from Hofstra University, where this quarterfinal matchup is. 44 goals on the season. And maybe he doesn't have the flair of an Aiken or a Krause or a Moore,
See,
this kid
Virginia's
is
offsides
always-
right there, Clark. You see
Yeah,
the top of the screen. Virginia was offsides on that.
Well, they got away with it. And then off ball, Ian Laviano does what he does so well.
They go into that 10-man ride. They bump from the middle of the field to create the double team. And the player who has to get back on defense, as you always need 4 players back in your defensive zone, wasn't there in time. The refs missed it. And the power of the ride.
Talking to Matt Moore yesterday, he said these attackmen love to ride and be physical and be aggressive and knock the ball loose. And Lars Tiffany has described his 3 attackmen like 3 down linemen in football. Those guys are able to create enough pressure where you're going to force turnovers and you're going to create havoc and get in the backfield, so to speak.
They suffocate your space and they speed up your time clock.
Big call here. Who does it go to? It belongs to Virginia. So the Hoos with a chance to tie in the final 30 seconds of quarter number 1. Kraus goal line extended. 15 seconds. There comes Kraus against Makar. Kraus around the bend. Gets to the middle. Shot was altered. And this is going to belong to Maryland with 5 seconds. Good hustle. Roman Puglisi whips one wide, and quarter number 1 comes to an end. Maryland looking to make it 6 straight trips to the semis. Virginia looking to get the championship weekend for the first time since that championship season of 2011. Jared Bernhardt opened the scoring. Matt Moore with a highlight reel play. Terps take a 3-2 lead to quarter number 2. Virginia, Maryland, the first of 4 games this weekend, followed today in Long Island, by Duke and Notre Dame. And then the scene shifts to East Hartford tomorrow. Penn State, Loyola, Ament, and Spencer, the 2 Tewaaraton favorites, followed by Penn and Yale, part 3, a couple of trilogies. Quakers, Eli's, and later today, Irish and Blue Devils. Start of quarter number 2, what jumped out to you in the first 15 minutes, Q?
The differences in the way these 2 teams want to play. Maryland wants to play a structured, a rigid, a schematic chess match, and Virginia wants to play kind of like guerrilla warfare. They want this game to be frenetic, chaotic.
Justin Shockey at the faceoff X for Maryland. And there is Janik on the wings again, and the Terps control. Janik gave Maryland a boost last week at the X, winning 3 faceoffs against Alex Woodall, and key faceoffs down the stretch. Terps an overtime winner against Towson in round 1. Virginia a 9-goal romp against Robert Morris. DeMeo down the alley. His man fell down. Fairman fakes the shot against Fox. Has it stick checked away. Good trail check. And now the outlet to Connors, who's a threat to score. The long pole has 12 goals. Make it 13 for his career.
You need to give an assist to defender John Fox, 34 in white. Keep your eyes on his trail check right there. Alex Rode has improved drastically in terms of his outlets. Virginia sets up a kind of an inverted V break. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense to make a decision. They welcome Connors. They roll out the red carpet.
John Fox is a beast. That kid's a short stick defensive midfielder, so opposing offensive middies are at him all day long, making that check. And you see Connors, you know who he looks like running down the field there, Quinn? Michael Earhart, who was the MVP of the 2018 World Championships for USA, a Maryland grad.
A Maryland great.
Virginia punishes bad turnovers and bad shots with great run-out transition.
That's going to be a trip against Virginia, so Maryland ball. Well, twice already, Kark, we've seen Virginia use its defense to get offense.
That's what they want.
Bernhardt to the cage, diving and scoring. Will it count? It does. The dive is back in college lacrosse this year. You cannot dive toward the mouth of the goal. That's a 1-minute penalty on the offending player, but you are allowed to land in the crease now.
Quinn, is he the best diver in college lacrosse this season?
He's so fast. Watch this, he uses the pick. It's a full head of speed. He almost steps on that line again. Very similar to a goal he scored last week in the first round. Does he step on the white line? Can't see it, but he's got blinding speed. The former high school quarterback executing the triple option.
He almost went to Navy to be an option quarterback, chose lacrosse like his two older brothers, Jake and Jesse, who were both All-Americans at Maryland. And he wears that #1 jersey, which is given to the Maryland player who embodies performance and leadership on and off the field. And did he get away with one there, Q?
I think he did. That's clearly a crease violation.
At hyper speed, though, that's impossible for the ref to see.
We get a push on Maryland. It will be Virginia ball. Cavaliers with a changeup at the face-off X going to Justin Schwenk, who played well last week. Schwenk got most of the draws against Robert Morris with LaSalle sick.
That's been a storyline nationally. So many of these Fogos breaking down late in the season.
Simmons, the freshman, over to Kraus. Kraus against Maycall. Kraus going back to his right. Some help there from Puglisi.
Hey, one! Who's hot?
Moore and Corley. Moore slips. Corley trying to prevent top side. He does. Laviano too high. Connor the backup. 35 on the shot clock.
Zone for Maryland.
Alex!
Moore plays it to Simmons. Gives it up to Conrad. Back to Simmons. Shot clock at 5. Moore, he's got to go. 3 seconds. Moore in trouble. Feeding inside and a shot clock violation. Now we see teams do that this year. They'll settle into a zone late in the shot clock.
Rarely will you see John Tillman that fired up in the second quarter. I mean, holding them to the last seconds of that shot clock. His fist pump going up and down the sideline. That is juice for a defense that's been questioned the last month.
And failure to clear for Maryland. You have 20 seconds to get it across the midfield line. The Terps failed to do so. That's the second time today. Now, you mentioned getting juice from shot clock violations.
Yeah.
That's what we're used to Virginia basketball doing.
You can't celebrate defensively against Virginia after a stop because your focus has to be on the clear. It's
right.
not over until your offense has it.
Kraus draws the slide, gives it up to Aiken. He's been quiet so far. Forward of Mikey Herring coming off a 6-goal game.
Terps staying in that zone defense.
Not much on the shot for Aiken. Clark, how does Virginia want to attack here?
You know, on that last take by Dox Aiken, I'd like to see him continue in his stride there. He rolls from his right to his left, and then he's stationary with a shot where a defender gets in his gloves.
Kraus just off the mark.
Continue the dodge and use speed. I'd like to see Matt Moore, 5 and white, using speed on his matchup.
Against O'Connell. And instead, Moore turns it over. Thomas O'Connell, 11 in red, making his second straight start. Started last week in place of Jack Welding at close defense. Now Maryland's got to get it over before that shot clock hits 60, and they do.
The zone has caught Virginia's offense a little unprepared. Maryland has not shown much of it this season. In fact, electing to practice on Mitchell Field yesterday away from this facility. And as soon as the team does that, I kind of say to myself, what are they hiding?
Exactly.
Oh, it's a zone defense.
Yeah, and Virginia should have some experience. Remember in the ACC semifinals games we called, Carolina ran a lot of zone against
Carolina. High Point. The Panthers upset of Virginia, used a lot of zone, and Robert Morris last week.
Here comes Fairman. Over to Wisnauskas. Now DeMayo. All-time leading goal scorer in California high school lacrosse. DeMayo against Jama. Bernhardt has it. He'll isolate Sawstead. Bernhardt using the speed. Gets the step. Now he's got the shorty. Top side. And missing with 6 seconds on the clock. You dump it into the corner. Do you try?
I try. Good things happen if you go hard here. You can draw a penalty.
Long will try. Shoots, and a save by Rode going low.
Top number 23, Kyle Long, the save by Alex Rhodes.
Rhodes really come on now in the last 4 or 5 games. Thought he looked really crisp and sharp in practice yesterday. I loved his enthusiasm and energy.
Conrad splits the defense. You're in trouble on a clear. Give it to 22. He doesn't play as much defense as he used to. Early in his career, he was a punt return clear. Missed most of last year with a knee injury. He's come on down the stretch, especially as an offensive threat against shorties. And he's got the matchup here against Fairman.
Conditioning is amazing. I asked him yesterday, I said, I've watched you play now for 4 years. Be honest with me. Do you ever get tired? He said, the last month? No, I haven't.
Conrad had 5 goals last week. Fairman does a nice job on him. Over to Herring. He's on Corley. Shot clock at 10. Maryland making Virginia work in the 6-on-6. Krause! A save by Dolan, who didn't see that shot coming. And now Maryland will try to clear.
Clear Maryland.
Timeout, John Tillman. 8:04 to go in the first half. Maryland, a 1-goal lead on Virginia. First meeting between these two old ACC foes since 2014. First of 4 quarterfinal games this weekend. We are at Schuart Stadium on the campus of Hofstra University. Renee Schroff, Quint Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra with you. Maryland and Virginia met in the 2011 championship, and since that game, the trajectories of both programs divergent, Quint.
You think about Maryland, they've been a fixture in championship weekend 7 of the last 8 years. Meanwhile, Virginia goes through a coaching change. Lars Tiffany hired. This is his 3rd year. And gradually, they have gone from a bottom feeder of the ACC to league champs, and now looking for championship weekend gold again.
Virginia with 5 wins against ACC teams this season. Last year's senior class graduated with 2 career ACC wins. They had lost 18 straight in conference at one point. This year, though, different story. Regular season and ACC tournament champions. 15 on the shot clock for Maryland. Zawadzki, 50-year senior from Long Island. Against the short stick Fox, who's a good one. Shot clock at 4. Zawadzki in trouble. Can't beat his matchup, and a shot clock violation. Lars Tiffany told us a few weeks ago, Fox, the unsung hero of this Virginia team.
What D? What D? That's a guy who's only a sophomore, and Lars Tiffany thinks he could be a captain as a junior. And those D middies If you can get production from them, it's like having shutdown corners, because then you allow the rest of your defense to play its base. And if you don't have to slide early to the shorties, I mean, look what Yale did last year with Tyler Warner and Jason Alessi. Won a national title. Didn't have to slide too early to those shorties.
Meanwhile, 6 turnovers now, and Virginia Kark has been sloppy in the clearing game.
Right side.
Kyle Long, 23 in red, has the matchup on this set. The question is, what angle do the Terps attack with him?
Hey, double in three. Lefty. Punt. Righty.
Long against Corey Harris. Now met by
Lefty,
Jama.
Corey, step right.
Yeah, they're going after Harris.
And DeMeo shoots and scores. A flag is down.
This is a great example of matchup-based offense. Maryland's only goal on that possession was to put pressure on number 8, Corey Harris, to isolate him and to capitalize. They wanted no part of 14, Matt Jama. Here you see the wing move. An inside pipe shot by DeMeo.
DeMeo scored 1,000 goals. California in high school, the state's all-time leading scorer. Every single game he was doubled, always had a long pole on him in high school. You move him to midfield. He was an attackman in high school. You get that change of pace. You take the short stick defensive midi out of his comfort zone. Those wing dodges are tough for the defense to be on the same page and communicate with the slide help.
He's quick, he's smart, he's decisive.
Puglisi comes up with it off the faceoff and flips it to Rahill. Virginia 6-on-6 has had trouble generating offense, and Maryland has squeezed the tempo of this game to their advantage
through earning contested ground balls.
Zawadzki, left hand, bouncing wide. Now the ground balls is a stat that Virginia usually dominates. Bernhardt draws the slide. Around the perimeter now to Wisnauskas. Flag coming. And Maryland will go man up.
This is going to be a cross check on Smith. 20 in white. But Anish, you mentioned the fact that Virginia has dominated ground balls. If you look at their games this season, the 3 losses are the only times they did not come on top of the ground ball battle with the opposition. Their wins, dominated.
And today, Maryland a 13-7 advantage on ground balls. Terps 1 for 2 with the extra man today.
Up left.
Bubba Fairman.
Rock to the end.
Now Bernhardt.
Right. Touchdown open.
Over to the wing, DeMeo, who's got 2 goals. This one trickling back toward midfield, and that's over and back. That's a costly turnover. Virginia still down a man with 25 seconds left on the Maryland man up. Doesn't matter! Man down goal, Ryan Conrad! And again, it's off of chaos.
This is all Ryan Conrad. He forced that over and back. If you look at O'Connell, 11 in red, when he was reaching for the ball to keep it on the offensive end for the Terps, Conrad tied him up, got him to the ground. Virginia's ball, the quick restart, and then the switchblade. This kid is unbelievable. I said it in the open. It's not just his athleticism. He plays everywhere on the field for the Cavaliers, but the lacrosse IQ on that one, Q.
He pitchforked him, and then he was able to strike before Maryland was set. That's the unscripted moments that Virginia needs.
6-on-5. Maryland with the advantage, facing off. Shockey, though, won it clean, and the Terps still have a few seconds on this extra man. They will be content to let Virginia get its personnel back on. We're back to 6-on-6. And that's a spot, Q, I thought Maryland might push the tempo.
Well, had they not used their earlier timeout, I think you would have seen the timeout there after the face-off win.
Nearly another penalty there on Jama. Fairman knocked back. Bernhardt again ripping corners. That's the hat trick for the junior.
Watch this brilliant assist. He throws it to him where he's going to be open, not where he's standing, but watch him throw this open in front of him so he can catch it in stride. Little lob pass, change of levels, a low release to a high placement.
The anticipation on that pass by Fairman was amazing. Quint, you mentioned, like, he just had the sixth sense, understanding that Bernhardt was going to find that space in the Virginia defense. What a pass.
Schwenk at the X for Virginia against Shockey. Knocked out of the cross of Sawstead. Loose ball push against Maryland. Virginia ball. And now the restart. They've got a long pole out there. And Virginia will play 5-on-5. That time they tried to squeeze it into the pole. Teo Dahl. Terps though having trouble with the clear. Gebert gets sandwiched. Moore trying to shovel it off the ground. And another loose ball push on Maryland.
Right to left. Chin straps, mouthpieces. Good restraint by the player doing the hitting there to use the shoulder.
Aiken against the shorty Smith. Aiken left hand wide. You want to see more of that in the 6-on-6, don't you?
100%, and that's Aiken continuing his stride. A few of the times where Aiken has had a defender in his hands, he stopped his movement towards the cage. When he's going full head of steam there, 6 and White has scored more goals than any midfielder in Virginia history.
A timeout by Virginia, 2:38 to go in the first half. Jared Bernhardt, a first half hat trick for Maryland.
Orlando, Florida. The youngest of 3 boys, his older brothers Jesse and Jake were Terps also. We talked about his ability as a high school option quarterback. That's a triple option. And lacrosse mimics a lot of those same skills. The ability to carry the ball, dissect the defense, to be explosive through spaces. And I know right now back in Lake Brantley, his dad, Jim, and mom, Catherine, are watching this game.
His brother, Jesse, has the best front row seat of them all.
Dad Jim, ties to this building and this place, former Hofstra football assistant coach. In the late 80s, you see him on the far left, played football and lacrosse.
2 years prior to that, he was my high school defensive coordinator for football. He taught me how to play nose guard, Danish.
You were a nose guard?
Yes, I was.
Wow. How much did you guys lose by?
Well, Jimmy then went on to Brown, formed a great relationship with Coach O'Brien, ended up with Penn State. Prior to that, USF and Georgia Tech, the O'Leary family tree, and then with the Houston Texans.
Jared
recently.
Bernhardt wears jersey number 1. That has a lot of significance at Maryland. It is given usually to the best player, but also the one who embodies leadership on the field, off the field. And it started with Andrew Whipple. Joe Walters wore it. Grant Catalino, one of the heroes of that 2011 run, wore it. Mike Chanenchuk, Matt Rambo wore it the year he won the Tewaaraton. Connor Kelly wore it a season ago. And then it was Jared Bernhardt's turn this year to be number 1 for Maryland.
Jared is stoic, extremely intense, not very vocal, but he'll let his play do the talking.
And there's his, is that Jesse? That's his brother, yeah. Hard to see in the shade.
Unbelievable for that family, though, and for his brother to be coaching his younger brother and experience this ride. Younger Jared, Tewaaraton finalist. Just a great family, great athletes, and always play the game the right way, too. All of those Bernhardt boys.
Here comes Kraus. Turn back around over to Mikey Herring. 6 goals in round 1, a career high. Herring's got the short stick. Rolls back against Puglisi.
Down, Alex!
Herring's taken 22 shots this year. He scored 16 times. Aiken left hand a little too high. Aiken still not in the box score for Virginia.
Virginia playing hero ball. Isolation dodges, nothing else going on.
Moore feeding inside. That was a good look for Kraus. 16 on the shot clock.
Inside twin!
Maryland switching defenses.
Now Kraus has the short stick. Aiken trying to split 2 defenders. There's that hero ball. Shot clock violation, though.
That is a disastrous possession by Virginia. They need to get the ball to their studs, their stars, and spread the field a little. And then when Maryland goes zone, they're not reacting very well late in the shot clock.
Wisnauskas against Greco, and John Tillman wants a timeout. 1:14 to go. Maryland out of timeouts. Our NCAA lacrosse coverage continues next Saturday. That's May 25th. It's the semifinal round from Philadelphia. We come on the air at noon Eastern on ESPN2. For more information, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. This is the first of 4 quarterfinal games. Duke and Notre Dame will meet for the 3rd time this season later today. The Blue Devils won in the regular season. The Irish repaid the favor in the ACC semifinal. And then tomorrow, Penn State, Loyola, Penn, and Yale. Quakers and Eli's, a rematch of the Ivy League Championship, 3rd meeting of the season between those two as well. Lars Tiffany, 3rd season as Virginia's head coach. He's given us almost a backstage pass to his program, Kark, the last couple of years, and changing the culture at Virginia, but also keeping a lot of the traditions has been a big part of it. And you know, all we heard the last 2 years was we want to get our culture, our culture, our culture. You got the sense this year that culture is now in place, and you're watching some of the results of that on the field.
They've identified a style of play that's certainly fun to play, enjoyable to watch. It's a high-tempo style, chaotic, rein things in defensively this year. But right now in this game, the biggest challenge for them has been their 6-on-6 offense, okay? They're kind of playing with condensed splits. They're letting some of their lower-tiered players do too much of the initiation, and Maryland has all the answers. They've held their matchups. They've switched from man to zone defense.
Well, there's the Cavaliers checklist. They ended their long conference losing streak last year. This year, they won the ACC regular season and ACC tournament, won their first tournament game since 2012. Now, they could check off Duke next weekend if the Blue Devils were to win today. That would be a semifinal matchup. Duke has won 11 straight and 19 of 20 against Virginia. And of course, those last two boxes, one of those could be checked off with a win today. A proud program with a lot of history, as is Maryland. And the Terps have it with a minute to go, about an 11-second differential between game clock and shot clock.
Anticipate Kyle Long, 23 in red, or Jared Bernhardt, 1 in red, as the prime party starters, so to speak.
Long, a freshman from right outside of Springfield, Pennsylvania. Actually from Springfield, that's outside of Philly. Told me yesterday he was a basketball player growing up, big John Stockton fan. Saw all the YouTube highlights. Here comes Bernhardt now. Picked up by Connors. Over to DeMayo, who's got a couple of goals. 20 seconds to go. And Virginia will have a chance here to make it a one-goal game. Jama across the midfield line. Final 10 seconds. Here's Conrad. Top of the box. Feeding inside. Laviano cashes in. Virginia today has been at its best in unsettled situations.
That's the last guy you want. All alone. Cavalier leading scorers, Ian Laviano, the sophomore from Long Island. But look who's doing the dealing. Conrad, we saw him on ground balls. We saw him scoring goals off of isolation. And now he's dealing, and the Cavs are feeling it.
Conrad's 18th assist of the season, but Thomas O'Connell misread that. 11 in red. He was the double team man. He stepped off of Laviano down low without having that defensive pinch from the wings. He left a dangerous man wide open.
If you're a Maryland fan, given how the Terps have played in this first half, this score should be a little alarming. It doesn't feel like it should be this close.
No. Virginia only has one goal, in the half-field sets.
Terps will take a 6-5 lead going into halftime. Virginia has never led. Maryland took an early 2-0 lead, and they've been running with it as we go down to Kark.
You know, Coach, holding this Virginia offense to 5 goals in the first half is quite the accomplishment. How'd you do it?
I thought we actually played pretty good complementary lacrosse. A couple turnovers were like that. That last one was tough. That man-up one was tough. But I think the guys are flying around. They're playing hard. We're doing a pretty good job at the X. Offensively, I think we're controlling the ball pretty well also.
Jared Bernhardt has 3 goals in the first half for you. Where is he at his best?
He's a pretty diverse player. He can attack up top, he can attack behind, and it gives us some flexibility just to move him around. So we like to utilize him in some different areas. It's a kid that's covering him is really long and rangy, so we're going to have to use some space there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Terps have a timeshare at championship weekend. They've been there 5 years in a row. 7 out of 8. 30 minutes away from getting back to the semis. Halftime now with Chris Cotter, Ryan Boyle, and Matt. Welcome back to Hempstead, the first of 4 quarterfinal games this weekend. Winners to the semifinals and a championship weekend in Philly. Maryland quite familiar with the semis. They've been there 5 years in a row. They take a 1-goal lead into the third quarter. Anish Shroff, Quint Kesnick, Paul Carcaterra down on the field. We didn't think the Terps defensively could handle what Virginia had on offense. How was Maryland able to do it?
That's the storyline of the first half. A couple things. Perimeter defense has held up. Their double teams have been exquisitely timed, and then they've switched from man-to-man defense to zone, and that's confused the Cavaliers in the half-field sets.
Maryland in that first half, +8 on ground balls, and this illustrates what you were talking about, Quint.
Well, you got good perimeter defense, and Dox Aiken is funneled into a double team with strong support, balanced support behind it. The pinch double team, there's no space for number 6 in white to operate. Again, look how packed in tight the defense is. Aiken wants to push to the middle, and all of a sudden, he is suffocated by 2 red jerseys away from the ball. Look at Virginia. They're standing around like a bunch of traffic cones, not occupying, no movement, no deception. So credit Maryland's defense. They've handled the Dox Aiken and Michael Krause matchups. The question for Virginia is what's the adjustment? What's the wrinkle offensively?
Yeah, Virginia needs to find an answer in the 6-on-6. Also, the Cavaliers are accustomed to dominating the ground ball stat. Not the case in the first half. Maryland +8 on ground balls, even at the face-off X. So the Terps have neutralized some of Virginia's advantages. Masala and Shaki for the opening face-off of the third quarter. Puglisi and Brozowski, the Maryland wings. Conrad and Connors, the wings for UVA. Second half underway. Maryland has never trailed. Terps looking to make it 6 straight trips to championship weekend. Virginia hasn't been there since 2011. Conrad staring along the sideline. We get a flag down. That was nimble. Baryshnikov, Fred Astaire.
An amazing play. How Ryan Conrad, who's got a goal and an assist, involved with the last 2 Cavalier goals, makes this play. He's running full speed towards the sideline and has to scoop this ball and then decelerate. This is a drill that Lars Tiffany, they utilize every single Friday. We've seen in Anish, they do that exact drill. A ball rolling towards the sideline, you've got to make a play on it and then adjust without running himself out of bounds. Not only does he get the ball, he garners it, and then he's fouled. He's been the best Virginia player today by far.
The last couple of games as well. Man-up opportunity for Virginia. Krause hits the pipe. And Kark, you wonder if Virginia scores here, could that get the half-field offense going?
Of course, and I spoke to Sean Corwin, the offensive coordinator for the Cavaliers. Few things top of mind in terms of his adjustments. The first thing, as Dolan makes that stop, he said, they have to understand how multiple Maryland's been defensively. They're changing their looks. The second, test Dolan. They don't think they're testing him enough. They're not getting shots on cage. And then the third, maybe the most important, Quint, from an adjustment standpoint, is understanding where the pressure spots are for Maryland and dodging more in space.
They've got to change their formations and kind of open things up. They're allowing Maryland to sit in that tight house, you know, that tight formation. And the Terps are really doing a great job of protecting the paint.
Sloppy start to the third quarter for Maryland. A penalty and now a careless turnover. We said it before the half. The concern for Maryland is Fox breaks through that phalanx. The concern for the Terps, as poorly as Virginia played in the first half and as well as Maryland played, look at the scoreboard. It's a 1-goal game. Conrad gearing up, goes down hard. He never had the ball. They fooled the defense.
Maryland coach is calling it a soccer flop.
Virginia's got some good theater classes.
Ian Laviano has majored in it.
Aiken now will invert against the short stick Puglisi. Aiken's trying to do a little too much at times. Feeding inside, Krause, nothing there. On the doorstep, Herring, and we are even at 6. When Mikey Herring shoots, he usually scores.
The difference for Virginia, Aiken handles the double team. Watch it, right side of your screen, right there, draws the eyes of the defense. Krause draws 2, spins it, and 23 in red, Kyle Long. His emotion shows what happened here. That's his man sneaking from X.
Yeah,
73%.
It's unbelievable, Quint, when you think statistically of Herring, but Kyle Long's a high school attackman who was a feeder. Now he's playing midfield and getting caught on defense. And in that ball rotation of Virginia, he was lost.
Herring 17 goals on 24 shots this season. Matt Moore joked with me yesterday. Herring's got to shoot more, he said. Off the faceoff, here come the Terps. Janik trying to dump it to Wisnauskas. Now Janik running for his life.
Janik had never taken a faceoff prior to this fall. He became their quote-unquote third faceoff man. They already were stacked in that department with Shockey and Henningsen.
And he came off the bench to win some big draws last week. In Maryland's championship run 2 years ago, it was John Carino, the X Factor, off the bench. There comes Snyder. Guarded by Harris. Let's see if they pick on 8 in white again. Wisnauskas around Greco. Now DeMeo gears up. It's wide. Sawstead checking Bernhardt. 3 goals in the first half. And Bernhardt now has the shorty Jama. Good look that time. It's not there on the doorstep. Wisnauskas stunks it in.
What an alert play by Bernhardt, because DeMeo fires this shot. 16 in red, and Bernhardt catches it. I think the entire Virginia defense thinks this ball's going out of bounds and they'll be able to reset. Not so fast. Bernhardt heads up. Wisnauskas cashes in.
Wisnauskas and Bernhardt, the first Maryland teammates in school history with 70 points apiece in the same season. And John Tillman has told us they are, in many ways, the leaders offensively, but quiet leaders. Not the way Matt Rambo and Colin Heacock commanded the offense a few years ago. Told you earlier, they call Wisnauskas Groot because he hardly says anything. Conrad inside to Laviano. That would have been a goal if he catches it. Instead of turnover. Maryland running. Here comes Ray Hill. He scored last week. Over to Bernhardt. Now Dubik settles. Dubik had the game winner last week. Greco falls down. 4-point afternoon for Bernhardt. Over to Wisnauskas. Trying to turn back, still holds on. Second to midfield now for Maryland. Zawadzki, native Long Islander. Bernhardt against Rock. Picked up by Kaloji. That's going to be a flag on Kyle Kaloji. We've learned that Virginia really has nobody that can guard Jared Bernhardt.
Virginia penalty number 16, rookie, 30 seconds trouble. That was the penalty, 4:41 of the third.
White, 1-6, hold, 30 seconds. 16 white, 30 seconds.
Defense is played with your feet, not your stick. Easy call for the officials.
Maryland 1 for 3 with the extra man. DeMeo over to Fairman. Now Bernhardt. Nice dodge by Fairman. Bernhardt, no angle. Blocked wide.
It's like his stick broke.
Yeah.
The head fell off. Rarely do you see that. I mean, you'll see the shafts break, but
That was a pass, though, wasn't it, Paul?
hard to tell.
Why does Maryland maintain possession
I
here?
thought that was a shot. It looked like it hit somebody
I
or
thought
something.
he was throwing the ball to Wisnauskas on the far low pipe.
Bernhardt, new equipment.
It's a new stick now.
Back to even strength. 6-on-6 now. Jama out of the box for Virginia.
Team 3.
Fairman, step down, shot and a save by Alex Rode.
Everybody's got a trusty backup. At least. How many did you bring to the dance, Paul?
Always 2 or 3, but nothing's quite the same as the game, baby.
Were you a guy who nicknamed your sticks, Paul?
I didn't, but I was very picky about them. Like, everything had to be a certain way
Shocker.
for the game. Yeah.
Put him in the tackle box.
Right. Put it in the tackle box.
Little hidden ball.
Laviano tried to fool the defense. It's Aiken who has it.
When I got my game stick good, Paul, I would usually give it a rest on Thursdays and Fridays. Once it was perfect, you didn't want to kind of wear that out in practice.
Oh, yeah, I had a practice stick the entire season. And then Friday shoot-arounds would bring the game on out.
Aiken, left hand, rocket, a save by Dolan.
It's a better look from Docs.
Quick outlet. Fairman leading the way for Maryland. Birth name Cole, but he was 13 pounds, so Bubba stuck.
Charismatic young man, Bubba is. We spent some time with him yesterday.
His dad, a big part of the grassroots lacrosse movement in the state of Utah.
Yeah, Sandy, Utah. Bubba spends a lot of time during the summer in California. You know, that San Francisco area and Mill Valley. And the kids just love him. I mean, he's like a Pied Piper.
Likeable kid.
Super likable.
Great smile. Told him when he's done with his eligibility, we'll be hitting the mountains in Utah.
He's got some of that California swagger to him, though, doesn't he? There's that California cool. I don't know if it's the Lannister locks or that $1 million smile.
Hug, shot, no go, shot, right.
Kyle Long, the freshman, over to Bernhardt. The Tewaaraton finalist has his man hung up. 15 seconds now. Bernhardt did not have an angle, and Rode is there.
That looked like an attempted pass to the backside where DeMeo was parked.
Laviano gets it back from Connor. 45 goals now on the season for Ian Laviano, sophomore from Long Island. Hockey player in high school.
Kraus, Aiken, and Moore, a combined 1 goal.
Yeah. Kraus does have 2 assists. Docs, 0s. Jeff Connor now, the freshman, against Geppert. Connor dumps it back behind. In front looking for more. He can't handle the pass. Scooped up by Connor. Going up top. Aiken stepped down, and we are tied.
Striking off the scramble. When play gets helter-skelter, Virginia capitalizes. The scoop off the ground ball right here. And Aiken, top of the arc. Turn and rake, too much power.
Virginia head coach Lars Tiffany lost his father before this season started, and it was at his father's funeral that Joe Solomon, a friend of Lars for a long time, presented the Virginia head coach with a wooden stick, and he said, "This is from your dad." And Lars has been bringing this stick to a lot of home games. He's brought it with him now on the road. His dad had it made for Lars, and it was ready, unfortunately, after Lars's father had passed, but that's the last gift from father to son.
The medicine game takes several months to create a stick like that. The curing and drying, the rawhide catgut made of hickory, and you see the purple shooting string, symbolic of the Iroquois.
Yeah, that's Al Jacques who made that, and I spent time with Al Jacques and Roy Simmons Jr., who was my coach at Syracuse, on the Native American reservation, which is right outside of where Tiffany grew up in Lafayette, New York. So he has deep connection to the Native American culture. And what I thought was profound when he told us yesterday, some people thought he should kind of hang the stick up and it could be in his office, but he said these sticks are meant to be used, and it's a great message for his team.
And what he has tried to create at Virginia is to channel what this game is about, go back to its roots, the Native American roots of lacrosse. They were the ones who gifted this game. Moore whips it high, and we saw Lars over the summer last year. He was the assistant coach for the Iroquois national team in the World Games over in Israel. That pass is airmailed, and that's a turnover over and back. Maryland, let's see if they go quickly off the restart. They do. Puglisi. Bernhardt. Bernhardt! Whoa! That had some heat!
Bam! Terp Nation feeling it. They're not going away. Virginia has the answer at 7. Terps counter at 8. And they do it with their stud Tewaaraton finalist, Jared Bernhardt. There's a few noises in lacrosse that can excite you when you're field level. And one is when you rip one off the pipe and it goes in. Over and back. Cavaliers, little mishap, quick restart for the Terps. Slinging it 1 in red.
Situation awareness defensively off that turnover. Get in the hole. Understand strengths. Talk about a money spot. He gets right to the middle of the field.
Bernhardt 4 out of 8 shooting. That was his 11th hat trick today. 4 goals. The plan for Maryland offensively, give the ball to Jared Bernhardt, let him make magic. It's worked all afternoon. He's had a hand in 5 of the 8 goals.
And over this game and the fourth quarter against Towson, showing you why he is a verified Tewaaraton finalist, the Heisman of lacrosse.
One of 5 finalists for the award. The winner is chosen after the postseason, so playoff performance counts. Other finalists, Pat Spencer, Grant Ament. You'll see them tomorrow when Loyola takes on Penn State. T.D. Irwin of Yale. Wisnauskas to the cage, feeding Bernhardt. It's off his cross. Well, that's a missed opportunity. Maryland with a chance there unsettled. Instead, their 11th turnover. Sawstad trying
Look
to
at the hustle.
Terps have it.
Look at Bernhardt hustle.
11 turnovers for Virginia as well. We come up on 5 minutes to go in the third. Fairman down the alley. Now Bernhardt.
Why are you a great player? Yeah, I know you have 4 goals, but you're hustling back to the midfield line to turn that clearing defender to generate a turnover. Man, those little plays, they count so big.
Who are the 2 guys making it on this field today? Conrad, 22 in white. Bernhardt, 1 in red, making all of those little plays, Quint.
Conrad out there defending right now for Virginia. Helping to patrol the crease. DeMeo dodging on Jama. DeMeo with the hat trick. Took some work to beat Matt Jama that time.
We talked about Bernhardt being stoic and intense, not a vocal leader. A play like this speaks volumes of his effort. Look at him get upfield and turn the Virginia defender, forcing that turnover. What's that lead to? This goal. Watch the rollback by DeMeo.
This is a big-time move by DeMeo, understanding where he is on goal line extended. And the second Jama takes off the pressure, that's where you see DeMeo cock his stick back, and I thought Rode kind of lost the pipe there, Quint.
Absolutely. He's got to stay tight to that near post like a hockey goalie. Force the shooter to hit the far side of the net.
2 goals in less than 2 minutes after Virginia tied the game. Cavaliers have tied it at 3-3, 6-6, 7-7, but Maryland has led throughout. Will Rock scoops up the ground ball. Cavaliers have had a habit of coming back this year. We saw it against Syracuse, down 4 in the fourth quarter. Against Brown and Carolina, also down 4 in the fourth quarter. Against Notre Dame, they trailed by 5 in the third. Moore against Corley. Corley's done a nice job on Matt Moore today. That shot blocked. Puglisi's got it. Sophomore, the top short stick, D-Mitty chucks it downfield. Maryland's got it. Dubik had it in his cross. Now Rode out to get it for Virginia. And the Cavaliers will push it back. John Tillman told us spacing so important when clearing against Virginia's Aiken shot is saved. Geppert over to Puglisi. Puglisi cranks and just misses. Number 8 in red plays to honor his close friend Gus Lee, who committed suicide in December. Those two go back a long ways, and that death really shook Roman Puglisi, but he had a couple of moments early in the season where he scored some big goals, and that was in honor of Gus. Zawadzki over to Snyder. Joshua Kaufman also on this midfield unit for Maryland right now. Snyder, the senior, out of Seattle. Now Kaufman. Dodging against Fox. Snyder spun back. Bernhardt from the wing. 15 on the shot clock. Bernhardt, Dubik. Did not have an angle. Wasn't positioned right. Shot clock at 3. Wisnowski inside to Dubik. Backbreaker.
They're coming. No one thought the Terps were capable over the last month to make a run like this, but the experience, the championship pedigree, and the playmakers like Logan Wisnowskis. This kid is known as a lefty scorer, but his vision is grossly underestimated. Great high school basketball player, sees the field. Dubik, Johnny on the spot.
Dubik, the hero last week with the game winner in overtime. A third-generation Maryland Laxer. Dad and grandfather both played for the Terps. There's Wisnowskis, who began his career at Syracuse.
That's gonna help, buddy. Go back to Texas. Let's go, son! Come on, Shockey! Let's go, Shockey!
Shockey and LaSala locked in a stalemate. Will Rock had it for a moment, gets it back. Virginia bench wanted a flag. Rock will bring it up, and now a late penalty marker.
1 minute remaining in the third quarter, 1 minute to play.
Penalty coming on Maryland. Conrad bumped by Rahill. Over to Moore. 45 seconds to go in quarter number 3. A trip to championship weekend on the line. Moore gets the pick from Krause. Looking for Laviano, intercepted by Geppert, and now the flag.
Good fucking hands. Good shit.
Maryland penalty on number 3, Justin Shockey. 30 seconds for a hold.
Geppert, pull!
Foul the penalty, 14:29 of the third.
Hold 30 seconds. Red 3, 30 seconds.
It's on the face-off man, Shockey. And a man-up opportunity for Virginia.
It's going to be a hold on number 3. Didn't see one there.
32nd extra man for Virginia. Aiken's been their top man-up goal scorer. Aiken, big right hand and a save by Dolan. Went off his cross, he's able to recover. 5 saves in this third quarter for Dolan. Maryland turns it over. Final seconds, Greco up ahead. Kraus, he's got to put it on goal. And quarter number 3 comes to an end. Lars Tiffany can't believe it. Virginia hung on to the ball. The man-up had expired. Jared Bernhardt. A goal and an assist. Dox Aiken got into the scoring column for Virginia. They've been the comeback Cavs this season. Do they have another comeback to get to championship weekend?
That won't continue and be our best tournament ever.
Championship weekend gets started next Saturday with the semis on ESPN2. Maryland 15 minutes away from getting to the semis for a 6th consecutive year. Following this game, Duke and Notre Dame, and then 2 games tomorrow in East Hartford. We highlighted Virginia's offensive prowess, their big 5, and the Terps so far have done a good job holding that unit in check.
They're all on the board, but there's no monster game there. And they've all had moments in this contest where they've struggled. I think Ryan Conrad has been the most impressive overall. Dox Aiken, though, in that third quarter, starting to get the type of looks that he needs. Meanwhile, Jared Bernhardt, best player on the field, without a doubt. He's been aggressive. He shot the ball extremely well. His hustle, and he has really defined this upset attempt by the Terps.
Lasala had the face-off, then lost it, and Ray Hill comes up with it. Laviano couldn't knock it out. And Ray Hill brings it up for Maryland. We have seen Virginia on the brink of defeat rally back a number of times this season. But the experience, the pedigree, the resolve of Maryland, it was on display in the fourth quarter against Towson last week. And from start to finish, they've been in control of this game. Bernhardt looking to feed Dubik inside, rolling back, and Long able to pick it up before it gets to midfield. Still plenty of time to shoot. The freshman against Fox.
Right side. Here we go. Flash! Flash!
Kid is quick, man. Look at his first step here.
Run! Run! Left! Left! Left!
Shot clock at 10. Fairman. Long again. Shot clock at 3. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. It was actually a good idea there. Chuck that one wide. If you're a second late, though, that's a delay of game.
One thing I've noticed here with Maryland, though, if they get into these late shot clock scenarios, you got to be careful. I mean, they've been at their best when they're attacking. If you're thinking of protecting this lead too much, 3 goals is not enough against Virginia.
Virginia can get the ball back and to generate extra possessions, whether it's at the face-off X or even from its ride. And they've been their best today, unsettled. Clark, these are the situations where Virginia struggled 6-on-6.
They have today. What do they have? 1 6-on-6 goal?
Conrad, left hand, save Dolan. And he's able to clamp. That saves now for Danny Dolan.
Nice play by Geppert on the far side as well, eluding the double team. But that save, he was smoked.
Here comes Geppert, spinning on Greco.
That was a save where Dolan's stick didn't really react to it, but he's got the body down and made the stop with his thighs.
Indeed. He will flop too. But Quint, what's impressed me, you mentioned Doc Aiken getting some looks in the third quarter. I've seen Dolan stonewall him high and low. I mean, he is quick to get low.
I like Dolan. I think he's really smooth. He flows well from pipe to pipe. Remember, he won a state championship for Garden City Class B back when he was a senior in high school. Returned to Long Island to play his best game of the year.
Massey pushed to goal line extended. Skip pass. Zawadzki scores! The fifth-year senior from Long Island, and Maryland has its largest lead of the game.
That stings for Lars Tiffany, and for Terp fans, that one counts double because this second midfield has been punchless, just eating minutes. How about this pass? Across the defense, the reaction is slow, plant your feet and let it go left-handed. That is a huge emotional swing.
You know, normally I would recommend a player catching that on that high wing out front righty to rip it righty, but that was a smart play by Zawadzki. When he caught it, it changed to his left hand. He actually shielded himself away from an approaching Connors there to give himself more shooting space.
Maryland wins another faceoff. One area where the Terps have excelled today, Clark. They've done a tremendous job handling this Virginia ride.
You know, all week, Coach John Tillman knew that if he was going to win this game, those specialty areas that Virginia dominates in, he would have to negate them. So I guarantee you they spent a ton of time dissecting this Virginia ride and putting extra pressure, maybe even like extra guys in practice, Quint, where you throw another team or another person on the other team that's riding just to give that pressure feel where it's coming from everywhere.
They've been a great clearing team this year.
Maryland came into this game as the best clearing team in the tournament, so that was a strength. But teams against Virginia, we've seen good clearing teams against Virginia wilt under their pressure.
What Maryland has done today is they've stayed relative to the ball carrier. They haven't left that ball carrier on an island. So when the ball's on the far side, if I'm a middle of the field type player, I got to get within 15 yards of my teammate.
Late in the shot clock, and it's DeMayo. 4 goals for the sophomore out of San Diego, and the Terps starting to pull away. That's 5 unanswered for the boys from College Park.
What a rip. The nation knows the name Mac O'Keefe. He's the leading goal scorer in college lacrosse from Penn State. What does he do so well? Catches and releases and shoots fire in the same motion. That's what DeMayo does. He catches the ball high, puts his stick low, all in one motion, and look where Rode is. No shot.
Maryland has scored on 5 of its last 6 shots. This was a 1-goal game at halftime. Virginia tied it at 7 in the third quarter, and since then, all Maryland. Conrad against Rahill. Now Kraus. Maryland, the lone unseeded team to make the quarterfinals. A stunning comeback against Towson in round 1. They've been a buttoned-up unit today.
Didn't think they could handle these matchups defensively. They have, and they've mixed in some zone.
Aiken. Over to Herring. Changing direction. Flag coming against Maryland. And this might be the break Virginia needs, because watching Virginia 6-on-6 today, like watching somebody trying to draw blood from a stone.
30 seconds for a push.
Right
Time of the
now,
penalty,
number 8.
20 of the
Push,
fourth.
30 seconds. 8 red, 30 seconds.
Officiating in this NCAA tournament has been outstanding and terrific. This call right there, the push, it's not the slash, it was the original push, the cross-check in the back that they called.
Virginia 0 for 2 with the extra man. Down 5, 9:40 to go. Winner to championship weekend. Aiken 7-man up goals. Moore's got 5 with the extra man. Here's Moore. Feeding inside. Conrad fakes high, shoots low. And a sliver of hope still there for Virginia.
That can ignite the comeback. Conrad has played a masterful game today, dominating that second quarter. Again, showing his versatility. He's a two-way midi. He plays the low righty spot on man up. Nice catch and finish. Look-away pass from Moore is on the money. Tiptoeing the crease line.
That pass is absolutely gorgeous. In the finest passers in college lacrosse, it's not just about finding the open guy. It's the through pass of the defense. That went through 2 Maryland defenders on a rope.
Talking to Conrad yesterday, grateful for this opportunity. He was part of some Virginia teams that were in the doldrums, and now a chance to finish his career on the biggest stage if Virginia can come back. LaSala. Java! That one hit the pipe! Big ground ball in front. It comes back into the restraining area. Maryland pushing the other way. Puglisi kicks it to the wing. Wisnauskas. And Maryland will settle. Now you talk about moments within a game. Virginia gets that goal. All of a sudden, Maryland milling in retreat. Instead,
Right.
Terps have a chance to get that lead back to 5. Long shot blocked by Fox. Big ground ball. Sawstead in a race for it near the sideline. 4 red jerseys, 2 white jerseys popped into the air. Maryland came up with a ground ball that turns it over. Connors accelerating. Dumps it back to Laviano. Trail check, Ray Hill. Laviano never saw him coming. Aiken able to recover for Virginia. 7.5 to go in quarter number 4.
Zone, Maryland dropping into their 3-3 zone defense.
To make Virginia work and use clock.
Danny Dolan, their goaltender, needs to stand tall now.
Herring probing. Over to Kraus. Skip past Laviano. That looked like it may have been intended for more, but Laviano got a stick on it. That's a shot. 30 seconds to shoot now.
Hey! See the crease?
Laviano camped in the crease. Aiken. Kraus to Herring. Nothing there. 15 to shoot. More from the wing. Less than 10 to shoot. Moore. That one hits Dolan in the knee. And precious seconds ticking away for Virginia. Dangerous clearing pass taken on a bounce by Geppert. Gets away from Conrad.
You win with defense. Defensive coordinator Jesse Bernhardt going to the zone at an opportune moment.
Virginia's been held below 10 goals only twice this season. In the opener against Loyola, and in a 12-7 loss to Duke. Cavaliers have won 13 of 14 since starting 1-2. Maryland is slumped into this NCAA tournament. Likely the last team in, but a chance to get back to championship weekend. 5.5 to go. Wisnauskas fighting through a double. Turns it over. Sostad has it poked away from behind by Dubik. And Maryland is there to scoop it up. You don't say this when a team's playing Virginia very often. Maryland has been quicker to all the ground balls. They've been winning the hustle points.
And Virginia's defense now, just judging by those players who are scrapping for that loose ball, they're kind of walking back into the hole. There's not much gas left in the tank for the Cavaliers.
And right now, Maryland is going to squeeze it.
They're going to squeeze it for 80 seconds every time they touch it.
Trust him!
Good, Dave.
Long plays keep away from Dave Smith, the senior captain for Virginia, 20 in white, against the freshman.
Go, Dave.
Smith tried to check it away. Long hangs on. A trust in the freshman down the stretch for Maryland. Had the game-tying and game-winning assist last week. 4 seconds, and he will dump it into the corner. Shot clock violation, but Maryland knows, Q, the clock is their friend right now.
It was last week with 23 seconds to go and a Towson lead.
Conrad. Into the box. Conrad. Over to Laviano, turned away. That did not hit the goalie. So no shot clock reset. Not that that matters for Virginia right now with 3.5 to play.
Zone defense again.
Which makes an offense work. Conrad does the work. It's 12-9, 3.5 to go. And that's a hat trick for Ryan Conrad.
He's not going away, Q.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Don't tell 22 in white, maybe the best all-around midfielder in college lacrosse. His career's over. Down by 3 and change with this offense, and Conrad on your side, you still got a ball game.
The NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Essentially has a satellite home at championship weekend. They've been there 7 of the last 8 years, 5 years in a row. 3 minutes and 25 seconds from getting back there. Virginia has been the king of comebacks in college lacrosse this season. They rallied from 4 down this year in the fourth quarter to win against Syracuse and Brown. North Carolina in the ACC semis. They erased a 5-goal deficit against Notre Dame. Do they have one more comeback? Conrad has been the guy down the stretch. He scored the last 2 goals, and Kark with Aiken, Moore, and Krause not putting up their usual numbers. This might be on Conrad.
Yeah, but he's basically having a Herculean effort here, 22 in white.
Laviano makes it a 2-goal game. Hang on. And there is a flag.
Goal's going to count.
This is a disaster for Maryland's defense. Conrad draws 3. You see the late hit on Puglisi, draws the foul. There's some confusion. Are we in man? Are we in zone? Mark up. Laviano left all alone in the low slot.
I like the change of pace by Laviano because when I watch tape from that spot, he loves to go low to high. That time he kept it low.
And the penalty on Maryland, so now Virginia with the man advantage.
John Tillman, confusion, situation awareness. He's got to call a timeout here.
He calls a timeout. You know, Quint, we've seen this in lacrosse this year. You want to take the air out of the ball, but then when the other team makes a run, you've already hit that gas pedal, and it's hard to restart. We saw it in the ACC tournament with Syracuse and North Carolina. We've seen it at other times this season. Maryland goes into stall ball tactics, and now you may have opened the door for Virginia.
It was 12-7 and not looking good for Virginia. Conrad scores from Matt Moore with 9:18 to go on the extra man. Next thing you know, it's Conrad again. This time when Maryland goes zone, they just give him too much cushion, and he hits the outside shot. The nightmare scenario is off that last faceoff win. Unorganized Maryland defense. They don't find their matchups, and there's Laviano from about 8 or 9 yards. Or all of a sudden, it's 3 straight. Momentum has clearly shifted, and if you're the Terps, you're glancing up at the clock right now. Wow, there's 3 minutes and 5 seconds. That is an eternity.
And I love this face-off opportunity for Virginia for 2 reasons. LaSala, 23 in white, is an absolute scrapper. So even if he loses, he will hunt you down. But if he wins, he gives you an opportunity with some offense because we see him stay on a lot longer than other face-off guys. And the second and most important reason why I love this, 22 in white. Absolutely devours ground balls all season long for the Cavaliers. It's part of their DNA, but he does it as well as anyone on the season. 79 ground balls. That is an outlier type stat, and everyone knows when you look at midfielders nationally, if you want someone to do everything, you want Ryan Conrad.
These are your specialty situations, your nuanced situations. A Virginia man-up face-off where Connors on the far wing is wide open right now.
3-on-2 face-off for Virginia. They trailed by 5 with less than 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And Conrad has it, flips to Connors to Conrad. And a timeout by Lars Tiffany, 2:55 to go, fourth quarter. Still plenty of time, and this Virginia team that at 12-7, you're thinking, man, can they really do this again? Have a chance. NCAA lacrosse coverage continues next Saturday. That's May 25th. It's the semifinals from Philly, noon Eastern, ESPN2. For more info on the men's lacrosse championship, log on to NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Talking to Lars Tiffany before the ACC championship against Notre Dame, I said to him, why are you guys able to come back so many times this season? And he said, we never believe we're out of a game with the style we play. And if you look at how the season turned, they were 1-2, beat Princeton in overtime. An overtime win against Syracuse, another overtime win against Brown. And in those Syracuse and Brown games, Q, they were left dead to rights, but found a way.
They were down 10-5 in the third quarter against Notre Dame.
Done, right? Wrong.
They are fairly deep. They play a lot of folks. They have great endurance. This is a team that trains to play 60 minutes. You know, they're real believers in speed and fitness.
You know, Sean Kerwin, the offensive coordinator for Virginia, is a bright young star in the coaching profession. And in the offseason, his name will be attached to a bunch of openings. He's always had a vision in terms of adjustments, and On this extra man, you look at Ryan Conrad in tight, right in front of the crease, 22 in white, and then Ian Laviano parked behind the cage towards that right goal line extended area. Look for some sort of an exchange between those two guys.
Mikey Herring will initiate. Over to Matt Moore. Inside, looking for Conrad. The dunk not there. Herring closest to the ball where it went out. 40 seconds on the man up. Conrad coming around the bend. Conrad to the rescue again. That's 3 fourth quarter goals for Conrad. 4 in the game. And it's 12-11 with 2:41 left.
Senior trying to extend his season. Trying to get Virginia back to where he thinks they belong. The initial miss. And now keep your eyes on 22. He'll just curl topside and present that visual target. And so cool and calm. Buries that one. 5-0 on Dolan.
He has become a scorer late in the season. 5 goals in round 1. He was the MVP of the ACC tournament. 14 of his 28 goals have come in the last 4 games. That includes today. Virginia on a 4-0 run. All the momentum on the side of the Cavaliers. And LaSala keeps it that way. A chance to tie as we come up on 2 minutes to play. Quarterfinal number 1. Winner to the semis. Duke and Notre Dame take the field after this one. Mikey Herring. Guarded by Alex Smith, and now it's Moore. He'll attack Corley. Moore gets the step. Back to Herring, who drops the ball. Smith has it for Maryland, chased by Laviano. Big clear for the Terps, O'Connell. Trail check by Moore, knocks it loose. There's the ride by Virginia. 1:35 to go, another chance for UVA. Aiken against the short stick. Krause! It hits the crossbar. Virginia still has it. New 82nd clock.
Wow, they're calling it a goal. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Wow! Maryland's bench in stunned disbelief. We need to see a replay.
You make the call at home. I think it'll be pretty simple. That's pipe. That's 100% pipe.
Wow.
Ball must entirely cross the goal line. There's no replay in NCAA lacrosse, and this is one of the most unfortunate calls that I've seen in watching this tournament for the last 40 years.
Wow.
I'm stunned.
That's
not
just
a goal.
Brutal call, and it begs for instant replay.
Yeah, no official review either. So we have a tie game with 1:14 to go. If Maryland loses, boy, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Virginia with the faceoff, and they will call a timeout. The Cavaliers can hold for one shot here at the end of regulation. Down by as many as 5 with 10 minutes to play. A 5-0 run and an awful call.
You know, somewhere along the line, one of the other officials has to step up and kind of walk over and say, you know, I didn't see that. I don't think that was a goal. Because, yeah, then I know the net ripples are a little here, but watch the trajectory of the ball. It's off the pipe. the lower portion, so it kicks downstairs. And this is from Super Mo. Slow down as much as we can. And in no universe is that a goal. And this is, you think about the NHL playoffs and the call they had with the hand pass the other day. This is blatantly unfortunate if you're a University of Maryland fan, and if you're a lacrosse fan, quite frankly.
You're not kidding, Quint. And here's the deal. When you think about that kind of a shot, if you're an official, the easy call if it hits the pipe is what?
No call. Look at all the players. They know it's not a goal.
Nobody played that like it was a goal.
Only one person in this whole stadium did.
You hate to see a game this good, especially this kind of fourth quarter, with these violent pendulum swings be decided by an official's call. Now, I know some people will point to Jared Bernhardt with that foot in the crease earlier, but you know what, Quint? That's a different type of call. That's a call where you give the referee, okay, I understand. He's flying. That's impossible to tell. This one was clear and evident to everybody upstairs, everybody in this stadium. It's a bad call, and it's ruined what was a phenomenal finish to a great game.
Well, let's hit that reset button. If you're John Tillman, you have to. And somehow, you got to find the courage, the mental toughness to move forward if you're a Maryland defender right now.
Easier said than done, and Virginia offensively right now is expecting zone, so they have two scenarios. They have an offensive play for zone and man. Inside you'll see Mikey Herron eventually and Ian Laviano, but the playmakers behind that have gotten them to this point, Matt Moore and Michael Krause. If they're in man, those guys will be going to the rack.
Virginia can hold for a final shot. The Cavaliers have never led in this ball game. And the ball in the cross of Michael Krause. One of the best attackmen in the country. 30 seconds. Here comes Krause. Slithers in. His shot wide. Moore has the backup. 25.9 on the clock. Now Moore against Corley. Changing directions. Moore left hand just wide. It'll stay with Virginia. Less than 20 seconds in regulation. Krause from X. Flips it back to Moore on the doorstep. Laviano, not enough on it. It dies near the end line. 5 seconds. Moore, 3 seconds. Feeding inside. And we have overtime. A 7-7 game in the third quarter. Maryland ripped off 5 straight goals. Virginia answered with 5 in a row, the last of which incredibly controversial and one that's going to be talked about for a long time regardless of how this game plays out.
Virginia operating. Krause rattles that one off the post. You see the official on the far side gives the reset call. Watch the official top of the screen. You'll see the top official give the reset call. What I don't understand is why they didn't talk after this. You let that roll, you'll see him, he goes like this, Anish, with the reset call. I don't understand why they didn't talk about it. You know, there are times that the ball will hit the crossbar and bounce underneath into the goal and then kick out. That wasn't one of those times.
That did not happen. And so Maryland, instead of perhaps celebrating right now another trip to championship weekend, has to find the wherewithal for another 4 minutes. And for Virginia, you talk about a lifeline, Quint. A program that has tried to get back, so to speak, and a team this year that has battled back so many times.
You look at the body language. I mean, You're feeling pretty good if you're Virginia right now. You climb that mountain, all you got to do is put them away.
Listen,
right now.
You're thinking there's somebody upstairs on your side. You're thinking, hey, maybe there's destiny and a little bit of fortunate play when you get a bounce like that, Kark.
Dead to rights is what Virginia looked like midway through the fourth quarter. And after that called goal, which everyone in the stadium and people back home watching will question for many, many years, the change of momentum and just the body language and how tense the Terps are after that, because they had some assistant coaches that were riding those refs for a long time after the play. And as easy it is to say, move on to the next play, that is a tough pill to swallow.
It's a horrible call. I mean, I guess at this point, you have to move on and play on.
Move on, Anish.
We are moving on because the winner of this game moves on to the game's biggest stage, championship weekend. The first of 4 quarterfinal games about to go to overtime. We will play 4-minute periods until someone scores. The first goal, the next goal, is the one that wins it. Sudden victory. Henningsen and LaSala at the face-off X. Virginia's won 9 of the last 10. And LaSala makes it 10 out of 11. He's a threat to score if you don't pick him up either. Conrad, 3 fourth-quarter goals. Dox Aiken. He's had a number of clutch goals this season. Lars Tiffany has said the fourth quarter, Dox time. Well, now we're in overtime. Here comes Kraus against Corley. Kraus over to Moore for the win! Virginia going to championship weekend! The Cavaliers have their only lead of the game. A bitter pill to swallow if you're Maryland.
Kraus draws the double team. The defense just sloughs in, giving Moore all sorts of space on the weak side of the formation. Catch, little crow step, and velocity from about 10 yards. This was a goal.
There was no doubt. And the Cardiac Cavaliers, with a little luck and a fortunate call that went their way, find a way again. Kark?
Coach, at 12-7, what gave you the belief that you guys could win this ball game?
Well, there's a couple things. One, we've been doing it all year. And two, I remember a great game, Notre Dame-Albany, on this field in the quarterfinals when Notre Dame made a great comeback. So it's never over, and especially with the heart of the Virginia men.
That tying goal, some controversy. Goal or no goal from where you are?
Well, I haven't had a chance to see it. You know, I didn't have a great angle on it. We were excited it went in. But how about P. LaSala? Just keep giving us the ball. And Ryan Conrad, give us the ball. Give our offense enough chances, and we're going to score goals.
P.D. LaSala was incredible, but your superstar all season long, stats or no stats, is Ryan Conrad. 4 goals, 3 in the second half. Finish this sentence. Ryan Conrad means what to this Virginia team?
Yeah, it's going to be a big absence next year, that's for sure. The heart and soul. Like, he's the guy in comm school. He's a fantastic student. He's the president of SATCH, our student athlete coming in for honor. He's the man who wants the ball on the stick at the end of the game. He's Captain America.
When you took over 3 years ago, it wasn't always easy. But now you're bringing this program that has tremendous pride back to championship weekend.
Oh,
how does that feel?
It feels, I'm so happy for these guys. I'm so happy for the staff. Happy Carla Williams. Thank you for this chance. It's awesome.
Enjoy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Ryan Conrad, our Capital One player of the game. Virginia never